If you're into vintage clothing, then you've probably already met the legendary Bobby from Boston. But for the rest of us, let's just say that his Lynn warehouse is considered something of a shrine. WGBH's Edgar B. Herwick III recently stopped by.
If you have a warehouse full of clothes, people are going to find you.
As you can see, simply calling it a warehouse full of clothes is an understatement.
You'll see a lot of things in here: suitcases, hat boxes, ice skates, old baseball mitts.
Better known as Bobby from Boston, Dorchester native Bobby Garnett III has been in the vintage clothing game for 5 decades now. He first started buying old clothes simply to strip them of buttons for his South End leather shop.
And we had a basket in the side where after the vintage things were stripped, we'd throw it in there for a couple of bucks, and this basket was always empty. And people would constantly ask us, when are you going to put more stuff in the basket, you know?
And that basket became his business. By 1995, he had a new store in the South End devoted solely to vintage apparel. But it's nothing compared to what Garnett keeps here in his Lynn warehouse.
Mostly we try to deal in 60s and earlier, though, men's and women's.
Yep, everything. From suits to dresses, Hawaiian shirts to shoes, jackets to jeans. Plus specialty items like military gear and sportswear. And while he's an equal opportunity collector, Bobby does admit he's got a few favorites.
I really like the 30s. It's a beautiful silhouette. A lot of the jackets have a sort of sport back detail. It's got a belt across the back and pleating into the belt.
And it's not just clothes.
If you're going to do a section of work clothes, I like having old tools in the section. I like having old lunch boxes and thermoses.
Anyone can make an appointment to shop in the warehouse. But among Bobby's best and most loyal customers,
we sell to so many designers that use vintage for inspiration. J. Crew, Armani, Marc Jacobs, Tom Ford.
And high-profile Hollywood costume designers.
Moonrise Kingdom, Bronx Tale, Beautiful Mind. Over 40 films so far, probably close to 50 now.
As you browse the vast space, it's clear why people flock to Bobby's. What's less clear is how in the world he accumulated all of this stuff.
It's reproducing in here overnight.
There's so many pieces of clothes here. Where did you get it all?
I'm kind of a maniac. It's so easy to accumulate so much stuff, you know, because you go out, you thrift shop, you rummage sale, you go to house sales. It's out there. Certain things do seem to dry up. The older it is, the harder it is to find. But, I mean, I have a knack for really digging stuff out. I can find stuff.
And Bobby still enjoys the thrill of the hunt.
There's a rush finding one great item or being able to find 500 items that I can just use. Either way, I'm going to dig and pick until I pass out, you know?
And Edgar Herwick is here. I never heard of this. It's just incredible.
I know. It's sort of astounding because he's really well known, as you can see, in the film industry. He's really well known with fashion designers. But when you talk to people around town, even people who are kind of into fashion, a lot of people don't know about him. And he's got this shop in the South End, and then he's got this huge warehouse here in Lynn. It's incredible.
Is everything used, or some of that stuff brand new?
No, I mean, basically, he said he's starting to inch into a world where if he sees something really nice and new that he picks up, he'll sort of put it on display. But no, it's 99.999% used,
like even
old,
all those
found somewhere else.
All those jeans and everything?
No, well, some of them are what he calls dead stock, which means that they were never sold. They're old, but they're brand new. So some of the jeans have labels on them. It's like a 1972 pair of Wrangler jeans, and there's the label still on it, never been worn. So they're new, old new.
Now what is the price structure like? Is it a bargain or no?
It's actually a real bargain.
You bought that tie there, right?
I did. I bought this tie here. This tie, I think, was about $15, which is a great price. And so, especially for vintage, I mean, if you go to a vintage store in New York City or some other major cities, I mean, you're going to pay an arm and a leg for some of this stuff. It's how good the quality is and what the price is prices, it's a real bargain there for most of this stuff. Now, he said, admittedly, some things he finds are like super collectible, and he has to price them pretty high. But generally, you get some really cool stuff for good price.
Where did he get his fashion sense?
So he says that really what started him on his fashion sense was music. He was really into music in the 1960s, and he said that started getting him into fashion. And so he was like, you know, copying the bands that he liked and things that he saw. And slowly he got more and more into fashion. And, you know, he met people along the way. And he mentioned a Harvard Square shop that he went into in the 60s, and it sort of changed his world. And from then, he just kind of developed it. And he started going to thrift stores and picking around and learning more about it.
Well, it's very cool. All right, Bobby's of Boston, but it's actually in Lynn, right?
That's right. That's right. And we got a bunch of stuff on the website, extra stuff, WGBHnews.org. See more with Bobby there.
All right, Edgar Herwick III, thank you.
Thank you, Emily.
All right, and that is it for Greater Boston. Jared Bone has a look at what's on tomorrow.
Emily, I'm in the conservation lab at the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. What does it take to clean one of the museum's treasured tapestries? Find out tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Jared. We'll have that and more tomorrow in Greater Boston. I'm Emily Rooney. Thanks for watching.